Hey guys, Kevin, Colts Pinball. Gonna do this one a little bit different. I know you guys are waiting to see the ceiling. Actually, no, nobody said anything, nobody cares. But to do the ceiling, I need to get some of the stuff out of my way. So today, I'm going to try to go ahead. I'm going to do as much as the floor as I can without cutting anything. Because I am going to have to trim over there on the back wall, obviously. So I'm going to try to get most of that done right now. I'm going to go ahead and put it on time lapse. I'm going to try not to bend over in front of you guys as much as I can. That's why the camera's over there, because I figured the way I'm going to be looking that way most of the time. So anyway, here we go. I'll start some music for you and enjoy the show. I don't know. I got about an hour and a half that I can work on stuff until people get home. So the only thing I'm going to do is, you'll see me using a hammer a lot. The joints, whenever they go together, one side, you know, if you're pushing this side down, this side's always a little bit low. I can put my finger on there and kind of pull it back, or I can kind of like hit it with the hammer and it just kind of vibrates itself into place. So for the most part, I'm going to try using the hammer, because if I'm pulling back on the rubber constantly, it tears away at your fingertips. So for the most part, I'm just going to try to sit there and just tap it with a hammer, light hits, you know, a couple thousand times. So that'll be it. You know, I'm going to be vacuuming in between each section, just kind of vacuum a section, put down a section, kind of as we go. So because tomorrow I plan on buying the panels for the ceiling, I need somewhere to put them. And if the floor is used up by the tiles, I can't just lay them on the floor, and then at the moment, I don't really have much wall space in here to just prop them up against the wall, so the table probably needs to be moved, because I thought maybe I could lean it against that wall. Move the banners, lean it against that wall. I'd rather just set it on the floor. That way I'm not scuffing any paint or anything with the tiles, with the ceiling tiles, panels, whatever. So there we go. See you guys in an hour and a half or so. Enjoy the clip. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of a pause here. It's been about an hour, but whenever I got over here, I noticed that this wasn't a perfect square. This edge here, like down here, was I'm talking like not even a quarter of an inch. But that's why, like, I put that panel in, and that panel was being a little wonky, and then this one was a little bit off. And it's enough to where probably once it was all down, it would squeeze and kind of flatten out. But realistically, what I need to do is that wall there and kind of work my way, because I'm thinking that all has to go, like that edge needs to go over like a quarter of an inch, if that, and probably not even that. I already, as you just saw at the very end of that, I opened up the garage door and I kind of pulled and tugged, and I was able to get, you know, I would say, yeah, I need to push the, you know, that's not in place. It's lined up though, and that's not in place, but it's lined up. So I think I already got it, but what I'd like to do is get some help, move that table out, do that wall at least over to the door, and get that finished in and kind of work on pushing it all this way. Realistically, what you should do when doing something like this is start in the corner and just fan out across the whole room at the same time. I ended up kind of going in a circle and I'm coming back, and I would say that's not the way you should do it. So these fit together so tight, I didn't think it would do that, but you know, a 32nd of an inch over there just kind of multiplies after a while. So that, and I think I need to just go ahead and cut that hole out and get that tile installed, so that way it'll square everything back up. It'll push these, this section here needs to come towards me a little bit. So like I said, that's going to end up pushing that corner by the door an eighth of an inch. Probably by now it's probably about fixed. But what I'd like to do is move this table and do that wall next and fill this in and push that stuff that way, as if it needs to anymore. But I'll say it's a little after 5 o'clock, so I know my wife said she'd be home at about 5:30. She had to go pick the kid up in Jerseyville and stuff. So, but there we go. It's going pretty good. This room is 20 by 22 and a half feet. And you figure I just did, obviously I had that section over there already done. So I did at least half the room in about an hour, if not a little bit more in an hour. So we're doing good, no big deal. But that already gives me a big area to lay all the boards down. I'd like to probably just put the boards, the panels right there by the garage door. That way they're mostly out of the way. Because I'm not sure where else I can stick them I could probably stick them back in this back corner, put them against the wall or something over there, but we'll see. But anyway, there's a quick little time lapse and a couple minutes of me talking about the same stuff I always talk about. And I guess I will see you guys later. This is the beginning of part 6. So, part 6 will basically just end up being probably just finishing the floor. I don't know if I'm going to try to squeeze the ceiling also into part 6. So, because you know me, I talk a lot, and these end up being long videos. So, probably just go ahead and wrap up part 6 as finish the floor. That way. I am going to go pick up a drywall panel lift, so that way I can just have it hold the panel up against the ceiling. I can mark and cut and take my time with everything, and I'm not trying to hold it up with one end on a ladder and me holding up the other end and all that fun stuff. So I was looking at renting them, and then for the same price of renting them, you can just buy one on Marketplace. So that's good enough for me, and they break down into pretty small pieces, so I'll just put that out in the barn. So there you go, a little bit of an update. From here, just move this stuff, do over there. Because right now I'm kind of have the ambitious goal of let's have the ceiling done by New Year's, because we do have some people over for New Year's. Jess has a bunch of family over. If any pinball people, any of my friends want to come over, that's fine. Because I'll be here. So, but anyway, there you go. See you guys later. Okay, we're back. It is the next night. Last night I had dinner, we were hanging out, stuff like that, and I was like, forget it, I'll do it later. So, now it's Friday night. Had a couple hours before dinner time. So I did take the mat and basically put a hole in the mat and then put the pipe through the hole. So yeah, that's actually going to a plate that's under the floor. So that came out perfect. Like, I'm very surprised about that. So I got everything done except for what needs trimmed. I did go up and there's the black ceiling panels. The other side's solid black, this side, so that's the side you won't see. So that needs to go up in the ceiling. I went ahead and I just ran like a little conduit, little PVC pipe up here, because I'm going to have like my main junction box and everything here for not for the TV, because the TV is going to be wired to an outlet, but I'm going to have like those light up shadow boxes and stuff mainly on this beam. So I want to have a little hub back here, and I just want to be able to shoot like either the USB cable, you know, if it's depending on how that's wired, you know, just kind of shoot it through that tube, something I can just easily take in and take out. So yeah, whenever the ceiling goes up, the ceiling will end up covering it up, you know, mostly, and I'll paint that black. So just something so as things change, I can just, you know, but I'll probably have a hub back here, but I need to have it over to that wall because that's the wall that's going to be on the power switch. So you come in and, you know, you hit the, instead of hitting the lights, you hit the button for like the pinball machines, and I want all those light up stuff and like the Govee lights and everything to come on with the pinball machines. That way, if you just turn on the lights, you're coming down here to play card games or puzzles or whatever. That's not pinball. I don't know what that stuff is. You know, if you're not going to have the pinball machines on, you know, also, again, if you don't have the pinball machines on, that DMD clock for Mario is not on. So I went ahead and picked up a, you know, it's just like a $12, $15 little orange clock, but orange and purple, I figured it'd go together. But that's just something that way it's always on. Like right now, nothing's on in here and I'm down here working. Well, I did have my stereo going, but let's see. So yeah, I just need to get a panel lift. One of my friends said he has one, so I need to get over to his house and pick that up, well, whenever he gets home. And then next will be trimming that to fit the last row. And then of course, I've said it like 10 times, that needs moved so I can paint that purple, and then that needs to go against the wall. The floor right here has a pretty drastic dip, so I'll have to put like a 2x4 under there, whatever I got to do to keep it level whenever I slide that to the left. But it'll need pulled out, painted, and then put back in the corner. Not a big deal. So let's see. Yeah, it's Friday. We got Christmas here in 5-6 days, whatever it is. So we have a decent sized New Year's party here. So my thought is, I mean, maybe if I can get I'd like to at least have the ceiling up and then the new lights up. But then after that, it's like, oh, well, a couple more hours, I can have the Govee lights up, and we'll have to see, because I don't really have that many days off before, you know, we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, once I get the panel lift, and I have a feeling these ceiling tiles are going to take a while, because like almost every one of them is probably going to have to be trimmed for something. So that has me a little concerned. So, not that it's hard, it's just, you know, time consuming. So, but then one of my buddies said he's going to come over after Christmas and help out for a while. So either me and him will finish up the ceiling, or maybe me and him will do Govee lights. But hopefully, you know, we can get a bunch of stuff kind of wrapped up. I did have to move Black Pyramid because I needed a place to put all those panels. So I moved Black Pyramid over whenever I got home today. So doing good. Not much of the floor left, and then start the ceiling. Okay. I don't know. Guess that's about it. I do need to pull off those wooden tiles at the bottom. I just put those on there to give it some weight to help them flatten out. But I just haven't gotten around to removing them yet. That's about it. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I'm getting low on stuff besides I got to do the ceiling, right? Heard it a million times. So I will talk to you guys later. Okay, out in the barn for a minute. And this is the panel. Let me zoom out here. Whoop. This is a little panel that they give you to use as a, put this on the ceiling and cut that out. So I just set this on there, taped it down, sprayed a little grid. And then obviously I marked, well, I sprayed the edges so I can cut this out. And then I went ahead, I'm going to do a cut there. That way it's the same all the way around. That way it's not like, if I decide to measure from the outside, you know, I don't use the wrong outside, or I'll probably mark it to know which side I used. But that way, just whenever I go inside, I'll have this ring to put on the ceiling, and I'll just you know, use that as like my template to cut out everywhere in the ceiling. Because I have one of those, like, it's like fingers and it's just vibrate. It's kind of like a Dremel, but it just has a flat blade on the end with fingers, and I'll be able to just slide it down, you know, slide it down. It'll be real easy, and it'll go through the ceiling panel a lot easier, and it'll go through this. I was going to use MDF, but I had this plywood sitting around, and I'd rather save MDF for something that needs to be, you know, something a little bit better than, you know, better than that. So anyway, there we go. Just thought I'd do this, and tomorrow morning I'm picking up my panel lift for my buddy. So I'm just kind of making sure I have everything ready to go for when I have that. So see you later. Okay, this is going to be the last part, or the last section of this part. The floor is now completely done, got all trimmed. That right there and that is just wood to make that thing level. And then I just kind of speckled it with black and blue paint to kind of make it match the floor a little bit so it blends in. Just, I don't know, the wood stood out really, the wood kind of stood out like that, but that's the middle of the floor. Like if the safe leaves, I don't just want a black line on the concrete floor. So I'm not going to paint that. But yeah, the toolbox is going to go back over here. So that's trimmed and done. Let's see, I just went around and I did tick marks where every joist is in the whole room. So those are all done. And there's the trim panel that I made for the ceiling, for the jig, for the lights. I did a base coat of purple on that because I had the purple out because I had to paint behind there. I still got to trim that and go up and around, but I just had my roller. I didn't have a brush out whenever I was doing that. So that needs done. Right now, what I was getting ready to do is, this is moving on to the next part, but getting ready to get the black out to paint that pipe. Because I want to do that, and it's all for the next part. The floor is done. So I think this is part 6 or 7. I don't remember. It might be part 7. Floor 100% done. Can't do anything else to the floor. Due to where the safe is, I do have 2 extra untouched pieces of flooring over there. There's 2 extra pieces. Because I was able to use a piece that I trimmed, the piece that I trimmed over here, I was able to use it over here on this side. So I got 2 full pieces left. What I might go ahead and do is order 2 center tiles just to have here, because I am a little concerned. You come over 34 inches for the skee ball machine, and that's nice and low, but it doesn't offer a big, huge gap. So I would like to order 1 anyway, just in case I want to move that pole over a couple inches. So it was $20 shipping for 1 tile. So I'm curious if I add 1 or 2 more tiles, what happens to my shipping cost? Because if I could just do like 2 tiles and it stays $20, you know, that for shipping, that would help out. Because the tiles are only $10 each. So if it goes from $30 for 1 to $40 for 2, I wouldn't mind having a couple of extras. But I'm going to wrap this one up. I went and picked up the lift this morning. So we're good to go on that. Yeah, I've got to move black games. Got to get moved out. And you know what? That's all part of the ceiling. So if the floor's done, this part's done, I'll go ahead and add this on to the end of my video that I've already been compiling. And I'll go ahead and, like, I was going to say submit it, but it's going to take a while to load to YouTube. But I'll go ahead and have that loading while I start working on the ceiling. See you guys later.